Om. 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 Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Jai Guru. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So where are we in our text?
We're starting chapter 77.
Are we getting close to the end?
We're getting there.
Let's see. Okay. I and mine are false ideas.
Yep.
I and the mine are false ideas, having no foundation in reality. Created by the mind, they rule their creator as long as he takes them to be true. When questioned, they dissolve. Questioner: I am very much attached to my family and possessions. How can I conquer this attachment? Maharaj: this attachment is born along with the sense of me and mine. Find the true meaning of these words, and you will be free of all bondage. You have a mind which is spread in time. One after another, things happen to you, and the memory remains. There is nothing wrong with it. The problem arises only when the memory of past pains and pleasures, which is essential to all organic life, remains as a reflex, dominating behavior. This reflex takes the shape of I and uses the body and the mind for its purposes, which are invariably in search of pleasure or flight from pain.
Yes. So understand this. All living organisms have this use of memory. It's not inherently evil or bad, but without discrimination, it gives rise to I-ness and minus. I was watching a video of a cow nursing a bunch of puppies. Somehow the puppies had gotten into its stall and they were nursing on the cow. The cow considered the puppies hers. And when they wanted to take the puppies away, the cow got all upset. So this I-ness and minus is part of human, not human, but life itself. Going on.
When you recognize the I as it is, a bundle of desires and fears, and the sense of mine as embracing all things and people needed for the purpose of avoiding pain and securing pleasure, you will see that the I and the mine are false ideas, having no foundation in reality. Created by the mind, they rule their creator as long as he takes them to be true. When questioned, they dissolve. The I and mind, having no existence in themselves, need a support, which they find in the body. The body becomes their point of reference. When you talk of my husband and my children, you mean the body's husband and the body's children. Give up the idea of being the body and face the question, who am I? At once, a process will be set in motion which will bring back reality, or rather, will take the mind to reality.
Yes. So the way to give up attachment is never done through a moral commitment or an act of will. It is the result of insight. When I see that the grasping, the clinging, the insisting, the dominating is what is causing my suffering, then I develop the desire to be free from it, which sets me on the path. Again, I think the clearest example that I have in just ordinary life is the people I work with alcoholism or addiction. Before they commit to recovery, they're convinced if you had my problems, you drink too. I was listening to a fellow talk about how his husband lost his father. So he had to fly back to the East Coast for the funeral. And the fellow here, my husband's gone. Maybe I can have one drink, one glass of wine. Well, all of us know for a real alcoholic what that meant. He fell into a bottle. He gets himself to the airport. He gets loaded at the lounge. He forgot something in his car. He goes back to the car. There was a wine bottle in the car. He passes out in the car, misses his flight. The police come. He's totally destroyed the trust with his husband. All this wreckage. But the mind still says, maybe I can get away with it. And that's what we're like with the world. Until the consequences are clearly seen, then it's not difficult to let go. But we have to pay attention. And then the ancillary part of this, we not only have to see how the craving itself is what causes the suffering, but that myself is never really threatened. What was the language we got in Monday night in Atma Bodha? Was it Monday night? What is today? Wednesday. Yes, it has to have been Monday night. Satchidananda Nityam Nirmalam. Existence, consciousness, no sorrow touches it. Eternal, always the same, without any dirt, taint. Going on.
At once, a process will be set in motion which will bring back reality, or rather, will take the mind to reality. Only you must not be afraid. Questioner. What am I to be afraid of? Maharaj. For reality to be, the ideas of me and mine must go. They will go if you let them. Then your normal natural state reappears, in which you are neither the body nor the mind, neither the me nor the mine, but in a different state of being altogether. It is pure awareness of being, without being this or that, without any self-identification with anything in particular or in general. In that pure light of consciousness, there is nothing, not even the idea of nothing. There is only light. Questioner. There are people whom I love. Must I give them up? Maharaj. You only let go of your hold on them. The rest is up to them. They may lose interest in you or not. Questioner.
So, do I need to walk away from family and friends and everything? No. Just let go of the attachment. Now, what's interesting, if the attachment isn't there, the other people may not find you very desirable or interesting anymore, which is very interesting. Very interesting. It's like we have mutually dependent neuroses. Whatever it is that one person is putting out, there's the equal and opposite in the other, and they feed each other, they support each other. Listen carefully. It always takes two people to fight. It only takes one person to have peace. Now, the other person may get terribly frustrated if the first person doesn't fight. Any thoughts on this? Going on.
Questioner. Sorry, I'll back up. Maharaj. They may lose interest in you or not. Questioner. How could they? Are they not my own? Maharaj. They are your bodies, not your own. Or better, there is no one who is not your own. Questioner. And what about my possessions? Maharaj. When the mine is no more, where are your possessions? Questioner. Please tell me, must I lose all by losing the I? Maharaj. You may, or you may not. It will all be the same to you. Your loss will be somebody's gain. You will not mind. Questioner. If I do not mind, I shall lose all. Maharaj. Once you have nothing, you have no problems. Questioner. I am left with the problem of survival. Maharaj. It is the body's problem, and it will solve it by eating, drinking, and sleeping. There is enough for all, provided all share. Questioner.
Now let's stop there just really carefully. So most of us think I must work hard for survival. But what a yogi discovers is the prarabdha karma itself will maintain the body. You will find yourself impelled into situations and environs if that's your karma. If not, not. But as Maharaj says, for the yogi, it doesn't matter any. It's like going to the movies. Are you going to see Mary Poppins or are you going to see Mission Impossible? They're both movies, but neither touches me. I'm sitting there in the audience. Going on.
There is enough for all, provided all share. Questioner. Our society is based on grabbing, not on sharing. Maharaj. By sharing, you will change it. Questioner. I do not feel like sharing. Moreover, I am being taxed out of my possessions. Maharaj. This is not the same as voluntary sharing. Society will not change by compulsion. It requires a change of heart. Understand that nothing is your own, that all belongs to all. Only then will society change.
Now, for many, many years, as I've taught Gita, I've not been particularly interested in chapter 16, divine and devilish estates. Given our current socio-political environment, it is more relevant than ever. So there's a few verses about the divine estate, and Krishna says, don't worry, Arjuna, you have these qualities. Then he goes in, and there's quite a bit in the character of the demoniac, the person who has the qualities of an asura, a demon. And if we look into our society, we might see that this kind of attitude is extolled right now. But one of the key points that Krishna makes in the 16th chapter, what the leader does, others will follow. So what Maharaj is saying here, if you become a person of character, of generosity, of kindness, wishing the well-being of others. I saw this YouTube video come up. I've seen these Tibetan Buddhist monks who are walking from, I guess, somewhere in Texas to across to the East Coast, and they stop and they meet people who are suffering. There was a person in a wheelchair, and they all just stopped and prayed for this person. You know, there's cameras watching them, so they're demonstrating loving kindness, generosity. All these people are fascinated by. Pope Leo has given Catholics all over the world a suggestion for Lent. Today is Ash Wednesday. It's the beginning of Lent. And the fast that he has recommended is that we refrain from unkind speech, from violent speech, from gossip, from slander, character assassination. It's just marvelous, just marvelous. Far more important than giving up chocolate. So it's great exercise. I invite us all to take it up for 40 days. Just try not to be a jerk. Watch how your life changes, and then you become part of the solution to the seeming divisions in our society. Any thoughts on this? Understand the law of karma. Energy you put out makes a difference. Going on.
Understand that nothing is your own, that all belongs to all. Only then will society change. Questioner. One man's understanding will not take the world far. Maharaj, the world in which you live will be affected deeply. It will be a healthy and happy world which will radiate and communicate, increase and spread. The power of a true heart is immense. Questioner, please tell us more. Maharaj, talking is not my hobby. Sometimes I talk, sometimes I do not. My talking or not talking is part of a given situation and does not depend on me. Where there is a situation in which I have to talk, I hear myself talking. In some other situation, I may not hear myself talking. It is all the same to me. Whether I talk or not, the light and love of being what I am are not affected, nor are they under my control. They are, and I know they are. This is a glad awareness, but nobody who is glad. Of course, there is a sense of identity, but it is the identity of a memory track, like the identity of a sequence of pictures on the ever-present screen. Without the light and the screen, there can be no picture. To know the picture as the play of light on the screen gives freedom from the idea that the picture is real. All you have to do is understand that you love the self and the self loves you, and that the sense I am is the link between you both, a token of identity in spite of apparent diversity. Look at the I am as a sign of love between the inner and the outer, the real and the appearance. Just like in a dream, all is different except the sense of I, which enables you to say, I dreamt. So does the sense of I am enable you to say, I am my real self again. I do nothing, nor is anything done to me. I am what I am, and nothing can affect me. I appear to depend on everything, but in fact, all depends on me. Questioner, how can you say you do nothing? Are you not talking to me? Maharaj, I do not have the feeling that I am talking. There is talking going on, that is all. Questioner, I talk. Maharaj, do you? You hear yourself talking and you say, I talk. Questioner, everybody says, I work, I come, I go. Maharaj, I have no objection to the conventions of your language, but they distort and destroy reality. A more accurate way of saying would have been, there is talking, working, coming, going. For anything to happen, the entire universe must coincide. It is wrong to believe that anything in particular can cause an event. Every cause is universal. Your very body would not exist without the entire universe contributing to its creation and survival.
You are literally stardust at the level of the body. Now, what I like about what Maharaj says, you don't have to talk funny. The example I like to give is, anybody here seen a sunset?
Mhm.
You've never seen a sunset. You've seen an earth spin, but nobody says that.
Mm.
But you know the sun doesn't literally plunge into the water in the ocean. You know that. You don't have to talk funny. Some schools, there's some Buddhist schools that'll say this one is going to the store today. If it helps, you can do that. But the insight's what's more important than the mode of speech. Going on.
I am fully aware that things happen as they happen because the world is as it is. To affect the course of events, I must bring a new factor into the world, and the factor can only be myself, the power of love and understanding focused in me. When the body is born, all kinds of things happen to it, and you take part in them because you take yourself to be the body. You are like the man in the cinema house, laughing and crying with the picture, though knowing full well that he is in his seat the whole time, and the picture is but a play of light. It is enough to shift attention from the screen to oneself to break the spell. When the body dies, the kind of life you live now, a succession of physical and mental events, comes to an end. It can end even now without waiting for the death of the body. It is enough to shift attention to the self and keep it there. All happens as if there is a mysterious power that creates and moves everything. Realize that you are not the mover, only the observer, and you will be at peace. Questioner: is that power separate from me? Maharaj: of course not, but you must begin by being the dispassionate observer. Then only will you realize your full being as the universal lover and actor. As long as you are enmeshed in the tribulations of a particular personality, you can see nothing beyond it. But ultimately, you will come to see that you are neither the particular nor the universal. You are beyond both. As the tiny point of a pencil can draw innumerable pictures, so does the dimensionless point of awareness draw the contents of the vast universe. Find that point and be free. Questioner: out of what do I create this world? Maharaj: out of your own memories. As long as you are ignorant of yourself as the creator, your world is limited and repetitive. Once you go beyond your self-identification with your past, you are free to create a new world of harmony and beauty. Or you just remain, beyond being and non-being. Questioner: what will remain with me if I let go of my memories? Maharaj: nothing will remain. Questioner: I am afraid. Maharaj: you will be afraid until you experience freedom and its blessings. Of course, some memories are needed to identify and guide the body. Such memories do remain, but there is no attachment left to the body as such. It is no longer the ground for desire or fear. All this is not very difficult to understand and practice, but you must be interested. Without interest, nothing can be done. Having seen that you are a bundle of memories held together by attachment, step out and look from the outside. You may perceive for the first time something which is not memory. You cease to be so-and-so, busy about his own affairs. You are at peace at last. You realize that nothing was ever wrong with the world. You alone were wrong, and now it is all over. Never again will you be caught in the meshes of desire born of ignorance. That's the end of the chapter.
Beautiful. Let's do the next one.
78. All knowledge is ignorance. Earlier, I was sure of so many things. Now I am sure of nothing. But I feel that I have lost nothing by knowing, because all my knowledge was false. My not knowing was in itself knowledge of the fact that all knowledge is ignorance. Questioner, are we permitted to request you to tell us the manner of your realization? Maharaj, somehow it was very simple and easy in my case. My guru, before he died, told me, "Believe me, you are the supreme reality. Don't doubt my words. Don't disbelieve me. I am telling you the truth. Act on it." I could never forget his words, and by not forgetting, I have realized. Questioner, but what were you actually doing? Maharaj, nothing special. I lived my life, plied my trade, looked after my family, and every free moment I would spend just remembering my guru and his words. He died soon after, and I had only the memory to fall back on. It was enough. Questioner, it must have been the grace and power of your guru. Maharaj, his words were true, and so they came true. True words always come true. My guru did nothing. His words acted because they were true. Whatever I did came from within, unasked and unexpected. Questioner, the guru started a process without taking any part in it? Maharaj, put it as you like. Things happen as they happen. Who can tell why and how?
So when I first entered the ashram in the Haight in 1975, it was pretty crazy. And there were people who were in charge who at the time were not the purest of people, let's put it that way. But at least I was introduced to Chinmaya's translation of the scripture and his commentary. The words were true. It didn't matter the impurity of the vehicle. Now, other people in the ashram were quite upset and damaged because they got involved with the personalities involved. But I was protected from all that. This is one of the reasons why I stay close to the scripture. The words are true. Believe them. Act on them. See what happens. The words are not efficacious if we don't act on them.
Mm-hmm.
Going on.
I did nothing deliberately. All came by itself. The desire to let go, to be alone, to go within. Questioner, you made no efforts whatsoever? Maharaj, none. Believe it or not, I was not even anxious to realize. He only told me that I am the supreme, and then died. I just could not believe him. Oh, I just could not disbelieve him. The rest happened by itself. I found myself changing. That is all. As a matter of fact, I was astonished, but a desire arose in me to verify his words. I was so sure that he could not possibly have told a lie that I felt I should either realize the full meaning of his words or die. I was feeling quite determined, but did not know what to do. I would spend hours thinking of him and his assurance, not arguing, but just remembering what he told me. Questioner: what happened to you then? How did you know that you were the supreme? Maharaj: nobody came to tell me, nor was I told so inwardly. In fact, it was only in the beginning when I was making efforts that I was passing through some strange experiences, seeing lights, hearing voices, meeting gods and goddesses and conversing with them. Once the Guru told me, "You are the supreme reality." I ceased having visions and trances and became very quiet and simple. I found myself desiring and knowing less and less until I could say in utter astonishment, "I know nothing, I want nothing." Questioner: were you genuinely free of desire and knowledge, or did you impersonate a jnani according to the image given to you by your Guru? Maharaj: I was not given any image, nor did I have one. My Guru never told me what to expect. Questioner:
And before we go on, this is why it's so important to clearly make the distinction. Notice his Guru did not say, "You are a Mahatma, you are a realized soul, you are a jnani. Strive to be a jnani, strive to be a realized soul." What did his Guru tell him? You are the supreme reality. Don't try to be a saint. Remember, you are Brahma. And here Maharaj talks about what I call the unknowing of the mind. That's different than not knowing. Not knowing is pure ignorance. Unknowing is when the mind itself quits believing itself. It becomes stupefied. Going on.
Maharaj, questioner: more things may happen to you. Are you at the end of your journey? Maharaj: there was never any journey. I am as I always was. Questioner: what was the supreme reality you were supposed to reach? Maharaj: I was undeceived, that is all. I used to create a world and populate it. Now I don't do it anymore. Questioner: where do you live then? Maharaj: in the void, beyond being and non-being, beyond consciousness. This void is also fullness. Do not pity me. It is like a man saying, "I have done my work, there is nothing left to do." Questioner: you are giving a certain date for your realization. It means something happened to you on that date. What happened? Maharaj: the mind ceased producing events. The ancient and ceaseless search stopped. I wanted nothing, expected nothing, accepted nothing as my own. There was no me left to strive for. Even the bare "I am" faded away. The other thing I noticed was that I had lost all my habitual certainty. Earlier, I was sure of so many things. Now, I am sure of nothing. But I feel that I have lost nothing by not knowing, because all my knowledge was false. My not knowing was in itself knowledge of the fact that all knowledge is ignorance. That I do not.
So this is the great paradox. When we begin our journey, which is not a journey, I think the table is real, the siren is real, the rain is real, the politics are real. God's a mystery. The self is a mystery. In the end, it's exactly the opposite. It's this world that is the mystery. When the mind itself understands that everything I know about the world is opinion and judgment and unreal, it's imagination. But something there is that's eternal. And it is not known in the same way the world is known. The world is known through subject object. The self is self-evident, is both empty and full. So at best, the mind has hypotheses, but the yogi doesn't take them very seriously. Always subject to being changed. Going on.
Mhm. My not knowing was in itself knowledge of the fact that all knowledge is ignorance. That I do not know is the only true statement the mind can make. Take the idea I was born. You may you may take it to be true. It is not. You were never born and you will never die.
Let me stop there. Do you incarnate into a dream? Are you in the dream, or is the dream in you? It feels like I'm in the dream. In the dream, I have no direct experience of the dream beginning. Likewise, with the waking state, I have no direct experience of the beginning of me. Other people say, your body was born at such and such a date. But what do I know? I am. Going on.
Take the idea I was born. You may take it to be true. It is not. You were never born, nor will you ever die. It is the idea that was born and shall die, not you. By identifying yourself with it, you become mortal. Just like in a cinema, all is light, so does consciousness become the vast world. Look closely, and you will see that all names and forms are but transitory waves on the ocean of consciousness. that only consciousness can be said to be, not its transformations. In the immensity of consciousness, a light appears, a tiny point that moves rapidly and traces shapes, thoughts, and feelings, concepts, and ideas, like a pen writing on paper. And the ink that leaves a trace is memory. You are that tiny point, and by your movement, the world is ever recreated. Stop moving, and there will be no world. Look within, and you will find that the point of light is the reflection of the immensity of light in the body, as is the sense I am. There is only light, all else appears. Questioner, do you know that light? Have you seen it? Maharaj, to the mind, it appears as darkness. It can be known only through its reflections. All is seen in daylight, except daylight. Questioner.
So other metaphors that are given, nobody has ever seen their own eyes. Nobody tastes their own tongue. You can't shine a flashlight on its own batteries. Likewise, no one has ever seen the self as an object, yet it is not unknown. And this term prakasha, the light of pure awareness. Just like when I turn on the lamp at night, it makes the appearance of all the objects in the room possible, but I don't need to have a second light to light the light. I don't shine a laser on the sun to illumine the sun. Likewise, no other instrument is necessary for the direct izing of sound. The rain is coming. I cannot see the sun. These clouds even touch the sun a bit. The sun were the size of a basketball. The world would be the size of maybe a pea 3 miles away. And in one tiny surface of the pea, there's a cloud. Has that affected the sun at all? Why don't you yourself? And to whom did that stupid idea occur? Going on.
Questioner, am I to understand that our minds are similar? Maharaj, how can it be? You have your own private mind, woven with memories, held together by desires and fears. I have no mind of my own. What I need to know, the universe brings before me, as it supplies the food I eat. Questioner.
So let's talk a bit about this term manonasha, the destruction of the mind. It is not a state of mental enfeeblement. It's not like someone who's had a stroke. It means 3 ideas are gone. Jiva Bhavana, the core idea. I think I'm a person. God. That the world, the Jagat, is separate from me and concrete and solid and inherently joy-giving or misery-producing. God. The insistence of struggle. Kartavya, obligatory action. I need to go from point A to point B in order to be okay, in order to be happy. I either need to play whack-a-mole with the world or I need to fix me. Those three ideas are gone. That's all there is to the mind, is those three ideas. The flow of thought is not inherently problematic. Going on.
Questioner, do you know all you want to know? Maharaj, there is nothing I want to know, but whatever I need to know, I come to know. Questioner, does this knowledge come to you from within or from outside? Maharaj, it does not apply. My inner is outside and my outer is inside. I may not get from you the knowledge needed at the moment, but you are not apart from me. Questioner, what is Turiya, the fourth state we hear about? Maharaj, to be the point of light tracing the world is Turiya. To be the light itself is Turiya Deep. But of what use are names?
Turiya Deep. Deepa means a light. So understand Turiya means the fourth. And in the reference is to Mandukya Upanishad, where the scripture says Om is divided into four quarters, Auma and silence. Many people think Turiya means it is another mind state, waking, dream, deep sleep, and wacko. No. It is the fourth in the series of discussion. We might say it's A, B, C, and D rather than a fourth plane. It is the awareness in which all mind states come and go. And it remains when the mind disappears in samadhi. But it is not a mind state. Turiya is another name for you. Going on.
But of what use are names when reality is so near? Questioner, is there any progress in your condition? When you compare yourself yesterday with yourself today, do you find yourself changing, making progress? Does your vision of reality grow in width and depth? Maharaj, reality is immovable and yet in constant movement. It is like a mighty river. It flows, and yet it is there eternally. What flows is not the river with its bed and banks, but its water. So does the Sattva Guna, the universal harmony, plays its games against tamas and rajas, the forces of darkness and despair. In Sattva, there is always change and progress. In rajas, there is change and regress, while tamas stands for chaos. The three gunas play eternally against each other. It is a fact, and there can be no quarrel with the fact. Questioner. Must I always go dull with tamas and desperate with rajas? What about sattva? Maharaj. Sattva is the radiance of your real nature. You can always find it beyond the mind and its many worlds. But if you want a world, you must accept the three gunas as inseparable: matter, energy, life. One in essence, distinct in appearance. They mix and flow in consciousness. In time and space, there is eternal flow, birth and death again, advance, retreat, another advance, another retreat, apparently without a beginning and without end. Reality being timeless, changeless, bodiless, and mindless awareness is bliss.
Now, let me share with you a real life story. So there was a particular student who's actually quite deep, rooted in the South, and decided that he wanted to do a 10-day Goenka retreat. He was gone for 10 days meditating. You've been on one of those retreats, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
How long a day do you retreat? 8, 9 hours, maybe longer?
Yeah, 10, 11.
10 or 11 hours for 10 days. He comes back. And I said, do you know any more so? No, Jim. Now, did his mind become more sattvic? Most assuredly. And did it pass?
Mm-hmm.
Well, all I need to do is say is he's married. There's someone laughing. But you know what I mean.
Yes.
The world, jobs, relationship. So the way Gita frames it, it's really interesting. Krishna says, be whether vigunaihi, ever beyond the gunas, and always remain in the sattvic state. Well, make up your mind. Am I beyond the gunas or am I supposed to be sattvic? The deep import of the verse is this: you are ever the witness of the play of the gunas. I like to use pizza as the metaphor. First, rajas arises. I'm hungry. I think I want pizza. So then that impels me into activity. Moment of sattva, unconsciousness, and then another piece of pizza, some salad, a Coke, conversation. The thing just keeps cycling. Now, for a yogi, it's not really just a circle. I'm taking the circle I was doing this way and I'm putting it flat. It's a spiral because the more the mind renounces, meaning I quit believing stuff, I quit getting caught up in attachment, expectation, aversion, regret, future tripping. The frequency and the volume of thought overall reduces. And certainly this I-ness and minus business, do away with it. And then we maximize sattva. Now, Swamiji was very soft. He only slept 4 hours a night. but he slept 4 hours a night. What was his mind state in deep sleep?
Oh,
Tamas. Gunas aren't bad. They're just not me. So that's the apparent paradox. Live beyond the gunas. Be identified as the unchanging witness of them. Now, if you want to be happy, the world says, go get what you want. Drugs, sex, and rock and roll. Yoga says, Sannyasoham, Sannyasoham, Sannyasoham. That's what Adi Shankara says when he was grabbed by the crocodile. His mother was freaking out. What happens after he says that 3 times? Anybody know the story? Sannyasoham means I renounce, I renounce, I renounce. What you do when you're going to become a sannyasi. The crocodile let him go. His mother wouldn't give him permission to take sannyas. And he's dying, he's being eaten by a crocodile. Okay, you can take sannyas. But the croc is really just a metaphor for this world. It wants to grab us, pull us down to the murky waters, sensuality. Going on. Oh my gosh. 5 minutes.
questioner. I understand that, according to you, everything is a state of consciousness. The world is full of things. A grain of sand is a thing. A planet is a thing. How are they related to consciousness? Maharaj, where consciousness does not reach, matter begins. A thing is a form of being which we have not understood. It does not change. It is always the same. It appears to be there on its own, something strange and alien. Of course, it is in the chit, consciousness, but it appears to be outside because of its apparent changelessness. The foundation of things is in memory. Without memory, there would be no recognition. Creation, reflection, rejection. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. This is the eternal process.
So I would say a much better way to understand this, not to argue with Maharaj, but for me, is to go to the dream state. In the dream state, as an individual, my one non-dual mind fractures, splinters, refracts into a dream body, which is a locus of perception, a dream world which appears outside and solid, and an internal world of thoughts and feelings and memories, reactions, etc. So the whole triple factor is there in a dream. But it's not multiplicity, real. It's my one non-dual mind appearing as all those features. Now, in this world, Ishvara is the dreamer. You get hit by a bus. the Andromeda galaxy doesn't wink out of existence. But many things do. There's as individuals, we perhaps co-create, we can say. Are you dancing anything right now?
Occasionally on my own.
Okay. And when you dance on your own, a dance is created, right?
Yeah.
If you get hit by a bus, that dance doesn't get created. But really, Ishvara is creating because there's no real Aditi doing it. How much more in this chapter? Quite a bit?
Quite a bit. Yeah.
Okay. We'll do a couple more.
Questioner, is there no escape? Maharaj, I am doing nothing else but showing the escape. Understand that the one includes the three, and that you are the one, and you shall be free of the world process. Questioner, what happens then to my consciousness? Maharaj, after the stage of creation comes the stage of examination and reflection, and finally the stage of abandonment and forgetting. Consciousness remains, but in a latent, quiet state. Questioner, does the state of identity remain? Maharaj, the state of identity is inherent in reality and never fades. But identity is neither the transient personality, vyakti, nor the karma-bound individuality, vyakta. It is what remains when all self-identification is given up as false. Pure consciousness, the sense of being all there is or could be. Consciousness is pure in the beginning and pure in the end. In between, it becomes contaminated by imagination, which is at the root of creation. At all times, consciousness remains the same. To know it as it is, this is realization and timeless peace.
Okay, I think that's a good place to start. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om.